Welcome to this rehearsal meditation. Let's get started by getting into a comfortable position. And with your next deep breath, as you exhale, slowly drop your attention down into your body. And as you take the next few breaths just to settle down, bring your attention to the present moment. And now we're going to use those 3 C's to check in with ourselves. So being curious about what's going on for us, the same way we would be curious if we went for coffee with a dear friend. And then responding to whatever comes up with kindness and compassion, as we would a dear friend or a child in our care, without judgment. And finally, having the courage to stay with whatever comes up, without changing the subject or redirecting ourselves. And if you notice your mind wandering, as minds do, then just gently and lovingly bringing your attention back to whatever was coming up. Now I'd like you to think of a situation in the coming week that you anticipate might be challenging. And this might be a situation that involves somebody else. It might be a difficult conversation, needing to say no or set a boundary, or enforce a boundary that's already been set. Or it might be something that just has to do with you, like resisting the urge to eat after 8 p.m., or to drink or use marijuana, or it might be to make yourself get off social media and go to the gym. Whatever it is, take a moment to get a clear image of this anticipated difficult event in the coming week. And now that you have this clearly in mind, then I want you to notice what your default or automatic responses are. It might be to just reach for that bag of chips, or to cave and not hold your boundary. Whatever it is, I want you to bring your attention to that mounting kind of energy right before you engage in whatever that behavior is, whatever your automatic response is. And now I'd like you to see yourself respond in whatever way would come most naturally for you. So whether that's to eat the chips, or stay scrolling social media or Netflix, people pleasing, whatever it is. Now I'd like you to use that SIFT approach we've used before. So paying attention to what are the sensations that you notice when you imagine just doing what you would typically do. What are the images that come to mind? What are the feelings or the thoughts? And just notice how you feel in your body when you imagine responding the way your automatic kind of pattern would lead you to respond in this anticipated difficult situation. Now, almost like in a cartoon where you rewind I'd like you to rewind and go back to that moment where there's that building urge to do the thing that you feel you've been programmed to do. So where that desire to eat the crappy food or to people please or to drink or smoke, that mounting energy. Only this time, as that energy's getting higher, I want you to imagine putting your hands out in front of you like stop signs and saying out loud, pause. And as you say pause, take a moment to reflect on what is the most value-based response in this situation. Take a moment to be really clear about what is the healthiest response for you right now in this moment to this urge to engage in this default behavior. And once you have an idea of what that is, then I'd like you to imagine seeing yourself do that healthy behavior. Notice how it feels to go through that value-based response. And as you're connecting to this experience, once again, it's helpful to use that SIFT to help us really connect. So paying attention to what are the sensations in your body? What are the images, the feelings, the thoughts that come up when you see yourself responding in this value-based way? Now I'd like you to take a moment to reflect and imagine that either it didn't work or it only worked for a moment. So you enforced your boundary, but then they pushed again. Or you resisted the urge, but then there was another obstacle or another urge came. And I want you to once again notice that building desire to engage in your default pattern of behavior. And then once again, put your hands out in front of you and say, pause. And ask yourself, what is the most value-based way for you to respond? Is it to give up because it didn't work the first time? Or is this value important enough to keep fighting? To think of what other tools do you have available to help you? And once you're clear on what's the healthiest response for you to this obstacle, to this issue that came up, then see yourself doing that. And once again, bring your attention to the SIFT, to what are the sensations, the images, the feelings, and the thoughts. As you don't just cave in the face of an obstacle, that you keep fighting because this is important. Living your values is important. And now remind yourself, why is this value important to you? How does it impact you? How does it impact the people around you? When you engage in your default patterns of behavior versus when you take the time to stop and pause. So you do the value-based thing. It's easy when we're doing a lot of work on ourselves to get caught up thinking that when we make the right choice, because it's difficult for us to make the right choice sometimes, but that when we make the right choice, other people are supposed to go along immediately. And we're surprised or hurt when they don't, or when they keep pushing our boundaries, or when after one urge passes, another one comes right on its heels. And it can be helpful to use meditations like this, or other rehearsal meditations, to help create the neural pathways in our brains so that when those difficult situations come up, that we just have to find the path instead of make the path. I hope you've enjoyed this rehearsal meditation. Take care.